Hey, girlfriends. Happy Monday. How y'all doing? With my girlfriends. So I'm still on a high from our Curl Friends collection that was centered around the True Colors collection. But I'm really excited today because I'm going to be chopping up with my stylist friend extraordinaire, Kara. And let me tell you a little bit about Hair Color Killer before I add her on. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much. Happy Monday. So Kara, she's an award-winning stylist and colorist. She is a brand ambassador. I have worked on many sets with her, so she's also a freelance artist. And so I really can't wait to dive in and share all the excitement around the True Colors collection and just really chop it up from a curl friend stylist perspective. So let's see, before we get Kara on, let's do a little roll call. Where are you all from? Where are you all joining us from today? I love Kara too. Hey, Color King. How are you? She is joined. Kara has joined. Uh-oh. Let's go. She's on. Oh, California, Tampa, Massachusetts. I see you, Orlando. Orlando, that's right up the street from
Hey
me.
girl,
Kara!
apparently I'm backwards. Hold up.
It's Monday, right? It's
There,
Monday. So
there we
what do
go.
we expect?
Hey friends,
Hey,
how are
friend.
you?
I'm doing great. I've been
I know
I miss
it's been a
you.
long time.
I miss you. That, let me just say that I miss you. You're just one of those people that is always a joy to be around because you have so much love for what you do that it's infectious, and I miss
Oh,
that on set. So I
I
just want to say
appreciate
that.
that.
For you
I
all,
miss you too, girl.
for you all Thank you. For you all who just joined us from wherever you are, I have the amazing Cara Williams. You all know her online as Hair Color Killer, putting out all of these amazing color blends and cuts and just showing up in the texture space. I mean, she is just celebrated by so many of us in this industry. And I'm just grateful to have her on with us today to really just have some girlfriend chat, also talk about some of the things that are happening with us at True and Pure Texture, and that would be our True Colors collection launch. And True Colors collection is all about pre-colored texture hair extensions. One of the things that Cara knows so much about is color and texture, and so certainly when I began to ideate around what this collection could look like, she was one of the people that I trusted to put, the textures and colors in her hands first, and she shared some amazing feedback, and I just wanted to have her on today to discuss things. So yeah, I got my questions right here. I want to just dive in, and so just give you all a little bit more about Cara. She's a master colorist, owner of K. Louise. We cannot forget that she's a salon owner. She's won two times Behind the Chair awards winner, and she definitely owns texture and color space. So let me get you. How did you tell us about your journey, a little bit about your journey, and how did you get the name Hair Color Killer?
That's a fun one.
Who gave you
I
Hair Color
actually
Killer?
did, right? And I feel like it's an important part of this conversation, just conversations that you and I have had over the years as well. Coming into the social media space, like when Instagram was really new, and coming
Right.
into my own as a stylist, right? So let's talk about how I became a stylist. Quickest version of the story is I played around with hair forever, always doing my own hair, which led to doing my girlfriend's hair, which had led to my first little job out of high school, working at the beauty supply store. And my girlfriend worked at the hair salon next door. So it was a beauty supply store in the mall. She worked at the hair salon as a receptionist. We were both in high school, and I worked at the beauty supply store. So the stylists would always come into the beauty supply store. I knew all the stylists and the owner, and I did her hair. My girlfriend, my best girlfriend, I would do her hair, send her to work. She would go in the salon and be cute with hair that little high school me did. So the owner will always come into the beauty supply store saying to me, girl, if you don't go to school, get your license. Girl, if you don't do hair, like, just go ahead and do hair. And it was something that sat with me because at that time, you know, being a high school student, you don't know what you want to do. I thought I wanted to go to school for fashion design, and just understanding that space of getting myself to college, not putting myself in debt, not putting my mother in debt, and just trying to figure out what I really wanted. She said one day, she said, I guess the piece of advice that changed my life, saying, it only takes a year, get your license, and you'll always have it to fall back on. And that was like, you know what? She's right. At least I'll do, it gives me something to do while I figure out what I want to do. So I took that advice and I went to school thinking that maybe this would be my fallback career. And of course I loved it, and I never left. Oh,
not a fallback.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To something like, I feel so lucky. We are so lucky. Not that it's not hard work and not that we don't have challenges, but how fortunate are we to tap into something that we actually really love and have found a way to create a life doing it. So yeah, not even a
springboard. Absolutely. So your second part of your question was, how did I get the name Hair Color Killer? So fast forward, like, you know, I worked in salons, and one of the reasons I never wanted to go to cosmetology school is I just always felt like there was no money in this career. I thought that I would not be able to. Yeah, girl, I didn't think I was going to be successful. Like, you know, back in the day, it was all of the good hairstylists that I knew. They were switching salons all the time. They were in a salon, and now they in their house, and now they're going to school for nursing. And it's like, you're amazing. Like, why is this your career path?
Don't talk about me. I started as a nurse.
Yeah, right. But you got it together along the way. You got it together along the way. So fast forward, I'm working in a salon, and I am the only stylist of color in my salon. And that was kind of my journey for a while until I opened my own salon. And I'm sitting here watching all of these girls making money hand over fist, doing color,
not us,
while I'm still doing wash, blow, dry, and curls every day. So I was the busiest stylist. Like, I would come in the earliest and stay all the way past closing. Like, the management would have to stay in there because I had all these people under the dryer and everything else, walking out making no money. So I knew I needed a switch. I needed to bring in more color clientele. And then that's where my Instagram handle came from. That was me saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to draw color in by posting only color. So I stopped posting styling, I stopped posting braids, I stopped posting extensions, I stopped posting all this other stuff. And at the time, 2 Chainz was hair weave killer. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and be hair color killer. And I was like in the beginning of Instagram, like 2012, and that's where that came from.
Wow, I mean, such an amazing dive into your journey, and I think a lot of that's mirroring today with stylists really being clear about how they want to show up in the space and what niche that they want to own, and being very intentional about it and commanding their worth. And that was really what I was going to lean into next, is like, what was the game changer moment for you as hair color killer? You know, and I think you really dove into that, and I think it was that commitment to, you know, this is the space that I want to own, because, you know, many women of color did not necessarily, although very talented in the beauty space, did not necessarily thrive in the beauty space. And color certainly is a part of that. So you know, tell us in your expert opinion, your pros and cons, because you know pretty much everything there is to know about color and coloring real hair. What are the pros and cons? And we talk about time and all the things that you spoke to already. What are the pros and cons about coloring
hair extensions? Honestly, led to me no longer doing hair extensions. which is crazy because it's something that I started out doing. Like before I got my license, I was doing, you know, little cap weaves on my girlfriends, and sew-ins and extensions were a part of who I was. When I transitioned more into that hair color killer space and was attracting more color clientele and doing more color on natural hair, now my clients are saying, oh, can I bring my bundles in and you color match this to my hair? And the time, the ability to actually like match to some of those very particular specific colors, especially on texture, because texture had become such a big part of my business. Most of my clients were not wearing their hair straight anymore. It would either destroy the hair, it wouldn't be possible to get past a certain level, or it would take more product and more time than it took me to actually color the person's hair. So at this point in my career, I was already, you know, I was already a master colorist. I was already kind of like an elite stylist. So my color prices were relatively high. They were, you know, in a luxury service. So at this point, with my hair color already being a luxury service, and now this hair is taking more time to color than a luxury service, it feasibly didn't even make sense to be able to price. It's like, I can't charge $1,000 for your bundles. But yeah, it takes that amount of work.
And it literally from a level, from a level 1 or level 2, it was taking that to really get those intricate shades. Or you know, first we had that, you know, as stylists of color, we certainly had texture gaps in extensions, but we definitely didn't even have that color lift around a very lucrative part of our industry, which is the installation of hair extensions. So it's a big gap there. And it was one of the things too, as I literally would not rarely cover color bundles. And when I did, it's just like, as much as I love texture, the nuance of hair extensions and really enhancing the style, it was something that I was like, there's just got to be a better way. And let me tell you what happens when we don't want to color hair extensions. We tend to color them expeditiously. Like 40 volume right out the gate. I've seen stylists microwave color with hair extensions because you feel that you can do this, and we know all of this is not worth the time, and also too can ruin the hair extensions as well. So I certainly understand that. So you know, you were one of the first stylists outside of Salon PK to use True Colors pre-colored extensions. So share with you know, a little of your opinion when you first got the True Colors collection. I kind of gave you some things that we currently have and some things to come. What did you think? Like, just, you know, keep it real.
Absolutely. Well, you know, as soon as I saw you post that, I was in your DMs like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I was so excited to see it. So, you know, Pekela was giving you.
And you went.
Yes, I did. And now Pekela gave you a little bit of background on us. We have worked on several sets together in the past, and one of the great things I appreciated is that because Pekela had true and pure textures available, she always had some in her kit, and it had been our saving grace in several occasions because it was literally one of the only textured hair extension lines that I have ever come across that we could at least do some kind of color to that would actually look beautiful and natural and color well and not ruin the hair. So I've always been an advocate of true and pure texture. I have referred it to my brides and just many clients when it's like, okay, if you're going to take me out of my box and make me color some hair like I don't want to, this is the only hair that you can buy for me to color. And so just a little background on that. So when I saw that the released colors were coming out, I was super excited about it. Pekela sent me some beautiful bundles. The quality is still exactly the same as the uncolored hair, which is amazing because we know just even in real hair, that's a hard thing to do. So the quality was still there. I always appreciate just how well constructed the wefts are. They're so high quality. Like when you get this hair out the pack, you understand, okay, this is luxury hair. This is great hair. The color blends I thought were amazing. I was most impressed by the ash blonde because those are colors you can never get ever in any type of texture. And it's always more. It's like you get a 27 gold. And as colorists, you know, we don't necessarily live in that gold family. We just don't. We try to color past that and get more beautiful, more natural blends. So that was a beautiful thing to see. The curl patterns were amazing, and I did get a chance to play around with it. And I love the blend on my natural clients and not just my loose natural clients, which was, you know, a beautiful thing for some of those tighter textures to be able to have extensions with color, because it's just something that has not existed, and it just made me really excited. So yeah, I've been having a ball playing around with it.
So, you know, you're a stylist of my own heart, and so it means so much to hear. And again, I just respect your work so much that, and I know that you know. So it was so important to me to, I gotta know what Kara thinks about this. And, you know, you really spoke to how, and, you know, for many stylists of color, for many Black stylists, we never really had that lift around extensions. You know, we always had to work so hard by starting from very dark hair. We didn't have to, you know, have the option to work with texture and just tone something or add a semi or a demi to customize. We were always in these super labor intensive moments when it related to texture, color, and extensions. And so, yeah, True and Pure has saved myself, me, and Kara on many
Absolutely.
photo shoots for some very well-known brands where we've had to create a texture blend and also color. And we're in these tight situations where it has to happen, and it has to be the shade has to be the shade, and the texture has to be the texture, because it's some
Yeah.
type of
And
global
we don't
marketing
have all day to be
image
coloring
there.
the hair.
The hair.
Yeah.
The thing. So, which amongst the four True Colors collection portfolio do you think will be most popular with
So
your clientele?
I know it's
You
just
have so many cool,
we we
so many cool
we talked
colors.
about the customization options, so it's almost even hard to say like this particular color would be the most popular. I think the options, and this is, you know, just the beginning, the options that we have now really give me the opportunity to kind of custom fit into where my clients come in, and that was something I just really felt like was missing in the hair extensions industry, especially for textured hair. And it kind of made me a little sad, like to be honest, that hair extensions really had a start in the Black salons and the Black community. We've been doing sew-ins and weaves and different types of creative things with extensions since the 60s and 70s, to be honest. So yeah,
Or longer,
way before it
way
became
before.
mainstream. That's when it got popular. But we've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
And then now with this extension boom, like it's not taboo, right? Like every celebrity of any ethnicity has hair extensions in. It's not a taboo thing anymore. And now with this boom
Right.
of it being so huge, there is that little bit of just gap in the fact that it's easier for some stylists who work with looser or straight textures to be able to order hair that's already colored and just add a root on it, or just tone it, or just combine a couple different packs of hair and it actually be seamless, and they don't have to, you know. And I feel like as stylists, we're kind of missing out on those opportunities. We're missing out on the ability to make that additional sale. We're missing out on the way that we can market that to our clients, because of course the color transformation itself is an all-day transformation. We should be able to have that hair on the wall that we can pick and say, I'll add a root and then mix these two together, and then I can throw your extensions in quick. The extension should be quick after the color transformation when you're combining the two. So I can't even say which one's going to be the most popular, because having those options are really going to give me the ability to create some beautiful blends with and offer more to my clients. So it's not like you got to drop your hair off next week. Maybe we'll get it to the color. Not sure. Because those were the conversations we were having. Yeah.
Maybe. You know, like I say, you are a stylist of my own heart. I had enjoyed it was very important to me that each color could exist on its own, they really were designed to play together. I really, really wanted them to be able to be all of the shades to be able to be blended together. And if you, when you see it in most situations, like you saw on the True Colors collection shoot, that is the intention, is, you know, a little bit of this and a little bit of that is certainly from a stylist lens, what can really create these blends. And we also see that a lot in general market. They have this lift of the, you know, that platinum with this and a root touch, and they're able to incorporate that into really beautiful color that they already have without it taking all day. But yes, for me, it is about taking, you know, the blonde brown with a little bit of the blonde blonde to really make it pop, or face frame, you know, using it in moments like that. So it is all about the customization.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm excited about that. I really am.
So, you know, we live for your social media. We live for that feed. We live for your shot. You will get that money shot with the color. You get the color, and then you get the shot. So what's the key? And I think I just said it. What's the key, like, to your, like, these huge color transformations that just drive your social media? What do you...
I think it's just like you said, the transformation, like the transformation in itself gets me excited. And I know that it gets the audience excited. Like, you love to see a person go from looking one way to completely different by just changing their hair color. So, you know, the majority of the time, these are salon clients. They're not models, so they're not getting, you know, a full face of makeup and, you know, an outfit change and everything else in the transformation. You're seeing that it's literally just the hair that has been the transformative power of it. So capturing those really good before pictures, like befores are so important, and then really taking them through that process, because we know that video is king nowadays. Like, it's just bigger than pictures are. And I still love pictures, but video's where it's at. So showing some of that process also helps you to own the right as a professional, right? Because they can see, okay, this is not just slapping some color on the head. And then that bam at the end, when they see, wow, like just changing that hair color makes all the difference.
Wow. I think what you just shared was really huge, and I see it. Here I am, I do it, and I see it. But yeah, it is not about a makeup change in the wardrobe or scenery. It's literally the transformative power of almost bringing someone's persona or personality to life. Absolutely. With color. And I think it's so important that you show a little bit of that process too, because it really lends to the equity of, you know, our worth. It's like they're not quick, you know, when you're doing color on real hair, and especially when it's done beautifully and it's blended and it's done with integrity of the hair. It's not a wham bam. It's something that is really intensive and just methodical in its steps. So what are the hottest curly hair extensions and textured hairstyles that you're seeing right now? What do you see trends right now?
I always say that, you know, texture hair, we mimic straight styles, but put our own kind of spin on it. So I feel like, you know, the curly like 40-inch bust down is kind of where it's at right now. You know, we were seeing like that hip length straight hair for so long, but now, like, starting to see that in a textured version. We're starting to see even like celebrities like Megan Thee Stallion, like doing more of that really long curly hair. Yeah, instead of just doing it in straight with similar type of placements, that it can be that long curly but still have like a thin like little money piece in the front, and it just gives the kind of vibes that like a straight haired look would have, but it's just kicked up a notch and a little edgier in curl. So I think that's definitely on the horizon for what's coming next.
I'm enjoying what I'm even seeing with your hair is this combination of, you know, texture. It is classic texture. It's locks. It's something that is so ingrained into our culture. Yet you have all the things that you spoke of, a bit of a beachy wave going on. And then you have this beautiful dimensional color. And so it's like we've now taken these tools, and really our natural creativity is now in exponents, because we are playing with elements of new and elements of traditional styling, traditional texture styling, and folding in our imagination and how we can
Yeah,
see this in color. So you actually
absolutely.
are exemplifying that
I
right
appreciate
now.
that.
Okay, so this is something that we've been doing, and definitely did on set with our True Color Beauties. It was such a fun, that shoot was so fun. But one of the things we asked them is, what 3 qualities would you use to describe your true colors that make you you? Like, how would you, 3 words that describe your
3
true
words
colors?
to describe
Your true colors.
my
What's your true
true
color?
colors. I'm gonna say spontaneous. Um,
Okay.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say spontaneous. Maybe I feel like, edgy is a little cliche, but I like things that are a little more, like a little less classic and a little more edgy.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay.
and let's see, third word, um, maybe girly. Yeah, I'm gonna say girly. Yeah, so
I can get that.
those could be my words. Yeah.
I Here's one thing I do. What I enjoy about you is you have a zest for inquisition. Like, you are a naturally inquisitive person. Like, for me, I notice that you
I do.
enjoy learning. Like, ex- not even like, I like it, it was cool, I can use that. Like, you light up when you're learning. And so I think that as much as you give and share and teach, when you find a valuable nugget that's new, it's like I see your whole face change. Like,
Yep.
oh my God. So I think that's such a beautiful quality about you, and I think that's why you will always be on the top
Thank
of your
you.
game,
I appreciate that. And
because you
that's why
see
I love being
it.
on set with you so
Yeah.
much, because if you have never worked with this woman, you will learn something new every single time you work with her. So I love, love, love.
Likewise, likewise. It was, I think we both were like, oh, oh. And I think it should feel like that. And that's a beautiful thing about this industry, is we can lean into how we really sharpen each other and continue to have that zest and spark for what's new and what's fresh in this industry. So I'm gonna get to another thing that's fun. Okay, so it's a word game. All right. But pick the one that aligns with you most. Hmm. This pairing. It's a pairing. Jill Scott and Jay-Z, or Mary J. Blige and Tupac.
I'm gonna go with Jay-Z over Jill Scott, so
No.
okay.
It's
Oh,
no, they're a pair.
okay, choose.
So
Okay, so
you
which
get
pair? Okay, so we got
Jay-Z.
the Jay-Z and Jill Scott pair. Okay, so who else?
Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, Jay-Z and Jill Scott, Mary
Oh,
J. and
Jay-Z and Jill
Tupac.
Scott. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We could
I say,
unpack that,
listen,
but I feel you. I
Brooklyn
feel you.
born and living in Philly right now. So, yeah, Jay-Z and Jill Scott.
Okay. So, okay. Blonde brown relaxed natural blowout, or blonde brown Layla curl?
That's a hard one. I'm gonna say Layla curl. Yes.
Layla curl. Okay. I can dig it. I can dig it.
Um,
Any reason why?
well, that's the only one I haven't really had the opportunity to create with, and I think that
Got it.
blondes on curls are always like a little taboo. So that kind of it would give a client who maybe couldn't get that type of like light highlight in their hair an opportunity. I feel like we could create a lot with that. Yeah.
I think it's perfect for someone
Yeah.
who
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have color. Like,
Yep.
their hair is
They
dark.
can add
They
like
don't
some
have
pop
color.
into
It's just
it.
like,
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to tell you a thing too that I do with with it. You know, sometimes you can just lay the track in as it is, but even if they're really new to color and they're like, just really, I want to tip my toe into the water, I will still take
Yep,
that track
to take
and
some
knock
out.
it to even
I love
disperse
it.
the color even more. So I cannot wait to see some of the stuff that you create with it. I am having the opportunity to get behind the chair a little bit more too, so you all should definitely be seeing more color creations from me. But back to my word game that you are obliging me with right now. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. $2 million right now, or all the knowledge that you know now at 13.
All the knowledge that I know now at 13, because then by the time I'm this age, I'll have more than $2 million.
What I want to do. Yeah, I'm with you on that. All the knowledge that I have now at 13.
Yeah.
That, yeah. So much alike. Okay. So, soft life or grinding hard? What
I
season
am
are you
in
in?
the combination season. I'm absolutely in the combination season, and I'm feeling that right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely like a perfect
Mm-hmm.
balance of the both.
Awesome. And that's all. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's about. We have these stretches where we have to put in the work. We just have to put in the work, and sometimes the work creates the soft life. So I certainly can relate to that. So what's next for my friend Kara? What is next for you, Hair Color Killer? How can we support you? How can the people, keep up with what you're doing, and what do you have
What's
next?
next for me is honestly continuing more in education. For my pro stylists who are on here, I do have a private education group on Instagram, and really,
Mm-hmm.
really just diving
Really good.
into providing more education on hair color, providing more education. Like in the group, we talk more than just hair color. We talk about hair color, we talk about styling, we talk a lot about business and social media and just all the things that can help you to be a successful stylist in this climate. And it's definitely been a great thing because it's almost like a mentorship, because these Killer Crew members, they have the ability to just kind of slide in my DMs and ask me about their color situations. I was working out a color correction with somebody the other day at midnight. We over there talking about what that, yeah, because they'll send me pictures and say, I got this client coming in tomorrow and I don't know what to do. And it's like, okay,
Oh, wow.
let's talk about it. Let's get a good mind frame so that you feel good about what you're about to do when you go into the salon tomorrow. And it's been really successful, and the stylists have been having great results. So really just continuing to expand on that. And I really want to deep dive a little bit more into that avenue, and just making sure that stylists feel well supported. So.
That is amazing. I wanted to rephrase that question in regards to what's next, because someone said it recently, and they were like, don't let people what next you to death, as if what you're doing now isn't enough. And I just want to say that what you're doing is so enough and so needed and so valuable. And what's next is the consistency, the results of the consistency of what you continuously do. And that's showing up for others, showing up for your clients, showing up for other stylists. So if you guys think that you are blown away by her makeovers in the feed, as a stylist, if you're not in her private group where she really gives you that intensive learning and education and pours her heart into it with you, make sure to check that out. If you are a stylist and you want to know all there is to know about color and exploration of it with Kara, make sure you are following her and joining the Killer Crew. You see it on the feed?
I see a couple Killer Crew members down here too saying hey, so thanks guys.
Okay. Killer Crew members. All right. So thank you for joining me today. Thank you all for joining us on this beautiful Monday. Let's see, Pekela, when are we going to be able to have access to True and Pure Texture in Paris? We have that available now. I think that, we have international shipping now. Sometimes you have to check out sort of what's going on with your import and the export for each different country, but we do have that available. So check the site. We do have international shipping. So I want to thank you all for joining us on this beautiful Monday. And thank you, Kara, for joining us. Make sure you all follow me, Hair Color Killer, and make sure to check out our True Colors collection on trueandpuretexture.com. We have our, I'm going to end it really quick. This is our ash blonde brown in our blowout texture. Lots of dimensions that Kara was speaking of, and a beautiful ash tone. Each of these shades can be customized with semi and demi. We even have a gray shade. So we have our warm shades, we have our blonde, which is a palette for many creations of other shades, and we also have our gray, which all can be customized. So thank you for joining us today and learning more about our True Colors collection, and wishing you all a very, very happy
Bye, everybody.
Monday. Bye, y'all. How do I end this?